Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. And we are in the studio with Carrie Hale from 1 to 1 Fit. And so we're going to talk about, we've been chatting it up already this morning about all the things. But good morning, Carrie. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you.
Now, I had thought you'd been here before. This is your very first time here on White Mountains Today. So welcome. We'll try to make you very comfortable. Not scare you or anything like that. So. Kelly's like, what is he doing there? So, Carrie, let's talk about 1 to 1 Fit, and let's talk about what you're doing. And you were explaining before your focus at 1 to 1 Fit. So let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, my focus at 1 to 1 Fit is, well, I'm a massage therapist and I'm a personal trainer. And first I started with mostly fitness, getting fit, getting strong. And as I've gone on, I became a massage therapist, and pain has been an interest to me. Because, you know, as we get older, we have more and more pain. And there's the pain that...
Good morning and welcome back to White Mountains Today here on White Mountain TV 16. And we are in the studio with Carrie Hale from 1 to 1 Fit. And so we're going to talk about, we've been chatting it up already this morning about all the things. But good morning, Carrie. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you.
Now, I had thought you'd been here before. This is your very first time here on White Mountains Today. So welcome. We'll try to make you very comfortable. Not scare you or anything like that. So. Kelly's like, what is he doing there? So, Carrie, let's talk about 1 to 1 Fit, and let's talk about what you're doing. And you were explaining before your focus at 1 to 1 Fit. So let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, my focus at 1 to 1 Fit is, well, I'm a massage therapist and I'm a personal trainer. And first I started with mostly fitness, getting fit, getting strong. And as I've gone on, I became a massage therapist, and pain has been an interest to me. Because, you know, as we get older, we have more and more pain. And there's the pain that you get when you fall down and get hurt. That's the pain you can explain. Mm-hmm. And then there's the pain that you get, and you can't really explain why you have it. You just have it, and it's debilitating, and it makes you tired, it makes you weak, and it makes you not want to exercise. And so that becomes a continuous problem. So that's kind of my focus now, is trying to figure out what that pain is. Yeah. And so I've doing some studying and some education, and so what I've come up with, it's more like structural pain. So as a society, we sit a lot, slump over our computer, we drive a lot. Athletes, we do a lot of running, we do a lot of biking, we do a lot of skiing, okay? And all of those things create postural imbalances sometimes. Mm-hmm. So, and then what those postural imbalances do is they create pain. And so, as a massage therapist, I try to figure out what is causing the pain. And then once I figure out what that pain is, being a personal trainer, I can help strengthen what that pain is. So I can kind of grasp both. So that's why, yeah, that's the direction I'm going into. Yeah,
well, that's amazing too. I mean, because we were talking about it before, and what you were explaining, the whole thing about being hunched over, like playing video games and everything else, and it makes so much sense. Mm-hmm. Your muscles are kind of sitting in one position for so long.
Right.
And so what type of things would you do with someone who would come in who's been hunched over their computer, says they have neck pain and everything else? What type of exercises do you do? Is there anything? Well,
first I would kind of look at their structure, look at their posture, basically, and I would look at the way that they move. So they always, the biggest complaint you come in, I got this knot, it's right here, you know, can you just push into that area? But then I would say, well, really, what you really need to do is we need to open up your pec muscles, because you're slunched over like this. So these muscles right here are the ones that are the problem, mm-hmm. Okay? So I can poke into that muscle all you want, but I'm not gonna make the pain go away, because the muscles in your pec, okay, are tightened, okay, which are actually overstretching the muscles in the back, okay? So the ones in the back are talking to us because they're overstretched and weak. The ones in the front that are over tight really don't talk to us, so we don't think that's a problem. Mm-hmm. We think the problem's back here, but the problem is not back here, the problem is here. So what I would do is I would open up the pec muscle. I would either stretch it, okay, or if I'm in a massage, I would open it up through the fascia and through all the muscles. And then what I would want to do is I would want to go and I would want to strengthen the muscles. I would want to pull you back. I would want to get this open and then work this. And that ultimately is what's going to get rid of the pain. Me going into that knot and just pushing into it and rubbing it out really isn't going to help. It's going to feel good at first.
Right.
But ultimately, it's not going to fix the problem. So first, we would look at your structure. We would look at your imbalances. You know, most of today's society, we have tight pecs, tight hip flexors, because we are sitting in this position and our shoulders are rolled forward. And then what happens here with our chin has to come forward and our head has to come up. Okay, so this is a typical pain pattern. Okay, so now you're going to have the pain here, you're going to have some pain in your neck, and then when you go to stand up, you're going to have some pain in your lower back because your hip flexors in the front have been shortened for such a long period of time that when you actually stand up, it's going to pull on your low back because the low back, the psoas muscle, is connected to the lumbar spine.
Yeah.
So when you go to stand up, you're not going to be able to stand up straight because this is too tight.
And I mean, how many people do you know that they complain about that? Oh, my back, you know.
Everybody
does.
Everybody.
And so you have a whole, I don't want to say a regimen, but getting into the massage and then the personal training, because it's not something that's going to happen overnight.
No, it takes time.
It takes some exercise, it takes some training. And we were also talking before about getting in shape now for the future, so that you're always in shape, as opposed to slowly kind of curling yourself into a ball and lying on the couch. Right.
So, yeah, you know, the earlier you start to exercise, the better off you will be later on in life, because building muscle builds bone. So for women, you know, we are susceptible to osteoporosis, and in men, you know, we lose muscle mass every year, just by nature. Nothing you can do about it, but you can help it. You can help it by going to exercise, you know, doing some weight training, doing some cardio. But the worst thing you can do is too much cardio. Okay, so cardio is great, but you actually have to do some weight training. You need to challenge the muscle to be able to build that bone. So it's just equally as important.
And you're starting, you know, in One-to-One Fit, one of the things, you know, whenever I go by there, there's always a bunch of teenagers there. So you're really starting and trying to get them on the right track. I mean, a lot of them are there because they're training for skiing or they're training for sports. But if they can learn proper exercise patterns for their life, I mean, you're setting them on the right path. Right.
Like I said, the earlier you do it, and the more education you can give to these kids, the more they understand it, you know, you're setting them up, you know, on the right path.
Right.
So, yeah, the more you can educate these kids and get them going, the better off we're going to be. You know, because video games is a huge problem. I mean, I have a son that plays video games. I know a lot of kids that play video games. I mean, we've got iPads, we've got, you know, iPhones, we've got cell phones, we've got, you know, everybody's down here. You know, so the postural imbalances are happening sooner and sooner and younger, you know, so that's a potential problem from when they're an adult. So yeah, we want to catch it early. And so they understand, you know, what that potential problem is. Whether they take you seriously or not is one thing. You know, they are teenagers, but it is there.
They're going to remember that. And if you, like you say, if you can teach them that, then, you know, when they're 20 maybe, or, you know, 25, and they're sitting there like, oh, you know, I remember Carrie telling me 10 years ago that I can't do this. And you know, hopefully it's one of those things. Now, One-to-One Fit, I mean, has been growing and growing. And so lots of great opportunities, lots of different machines. And like you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a trainer in there. I mean, there's so many of them. And that's a great thing. So there's, you know, a lot of different, you know, a lot of different specialties. Like you're saying, you're working with massage and that type of thing. And everybody kind of has their own little specialty.
So we all have our own little formula.
So when you go in there, you can find someone who's going to help you.
Yeah, any one of us can help you.
And so what, you've got a website.
Yes.
one-to-one-fit.com.
Yes.
And you got a phone number?
Yes. You want me to tell you it?
Well, if you know it. I bet you don't know it.
I do.
I bet Carrie doesn't know the phone number.
356-9350.
9350. So call, or the best thing too is just to stop in and meet with you guys and say, this is what I want to do. And you're located, well, north of the hospital, or there's a website right there. So definitely check that out. So, well, Carrie, thanks so much for coming down today and chatting with us. And I'm sure we'll see you again. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, you know, I'm looking at Carrie and Rob, and I'm going, you know, I think Rob's the more fit of the two. Oh, now they're like, yeah, that's what get. Yeah, I don't think so. So, Carrie, thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again. We'll be back here in a minute on White Mountains Today.
Cannon Mount